Hello, everybody. My name's Caleb. If you're not used to being by now, you kind of have to see me a lot on these Indium Insights things. So I'm getting used to it. Hopefully you're getting used to it too. But we're waiting on a few other people to come in, some stragglers. But yeah, we're excited to get into some stuff that really matters, which is like how to do business with Indium, actually. If anybody wants to bite on it, we were actually discussing before everyone jumped in. If I'm the only one that doesn't like group my Google Chrome tabs. If anybody wants to chime in, make me feel bad, go ahead.
Well, if I don't even know how to do it, I don't even do
Okay.
it.
Okay, me and Paul, we're the two.
So us normal folks, we actually have a kind of a preset layout for the tabs, so you always know where to go for your frequently used ones. So I always know mail, calendar, whatever. It's all right there. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Paul, you might be doing it, not even realizing it.
Well, I drag them and put them where I need them and on the other screen, but other than that.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't just let them open like 80 of them at a time in whatever order that they open in.
No, that's too confusing.
Yeah.
I feel targeted. So we're just gonna get into it. Welcome everybody. So obviously, as everything is kind of frequently changing and Indium is having some changes, obviously, improvements, we'll call them improvements. The one constant is most, if not all of you, come to Indium for at least one thing, which is some version of access to markets. And so we want to address some questions on that and make sure that we're like committing to work on towards just being easier to do business with in that regard. And that's our commitment to you. This is the first step to that. Hopefully you'll have some good takeaways after this. As you get acclimated with these Indium Insights, I want you to also get acclimated with Steve, Lindsay, and I. I am, when I'm not talking to you on these things, I'm responsible for trying to best match member needs with what we're able to offer at any given time. So trying to always skew that to being better month in, month out. And a lot of that is made possible by feedback from Steve. A lot of you may have been on calls recently with Steve Moore. He is a crucial front lines piece to this, as is Lindsay. You're probably engaging with Lindsay a lot. See her name on a lot of emails and a lot of the posts and correspondences. She also makes sure that the three of us kind of collect our thoughts appropriately and we can have a cohesive message so you guys can like actually digest this information without feeling like it's just we're all discombobulated. So you'll hopefully continue to get used to seeing and hearing from us all. Paul Tippett, the man of the hour, he's our special guest today. You'll hear more from him a little bit later. He's going to help me answer a lot of your questions that you guys graciously helped us out through the survey. But really, he's been in the trenches, engaging with carriers, really fact-finding all this stuff so we can actually have a leg to stand on to answer these questions about carrier appetite and things like that. So couldn't do this meeting without Paul for sure, but it wouldn't be in the same place that we're at without Paul. So appreciate you. All right. So we're going to talk today about the Indium way. Now, there really hasn't been a cohesive Indium way to doing business with us prior. So this is really the introduction to the Indium way. And there has been an absence of that. So the actual approach to access, the different flavors of accessing our carrier partners, so to speak, we'll touch on that. And the overarching question, the common thread of almost all of our conversations with our members is, where does Indium fit? That's a common question. It's a fair question. We need to put ourselves in a better position to answer it better and to just get better at giving you guys the answer to the test, so to speak, on where does Indium fit in to my market mix. And then a step further, we'll go into actually answering some of the questions that you guys submitted through the survey, get Paul's unique insights into, you know, how we can make the best of the carrier appetite that Indium offers to you guys, and kind of demystify that a little bit. Then finally, we'll look forward to all the things that we're trying to put in place to make it easier to do business with us long term. So does that sound okay with everybody? If somebody could give me a thumbs up. I need a lot of good feedback. There we go. All right, so the Indium way, without actually a concerted and deliberate like playbook to how to do business with us, it's kind of created room for just every member to kind of pick their own way how to like try to do business with us, and it's inconsistent at best and frustrating at worst for a lot of you guys. So want to just acknowledge that and try to lay the groundwork for what the best way is to do business with us. So what we're all on the same page here about is that it's not a one size fits all approach to accessing markets through Indium. You should be able to choose your adventure with a carrier partner differently based on a couple things. And if you look at this crawl, walk, jog continuum, I think it's healthy to look at it as like your journey with a carrier depending on where you're at in the spectrum of confidence with them and us. So we want you to be able to crawl with a carrier partner if you are unsure of their appetite. Maybe you don't know if the lines of business that you're trying to test out, maybe you're trying something new. So because it's a new line of business, you don't know how a particular carrier or sets of carriers will react to that. You don't know if it's palatable to them. You don't know if it is palatable, if from a rate perspective, they're even able to compete. So a lot of variables, a lot of uncertainty can dictate how you engage with and your relationship with that carrier. That can, hopefully we can help you progress that towards something like a walk relationship where you have more confidence in both the competitiveness or the appetite. You know that they do well what you do well, and there's a symbiosis there. And finally, all the way up till we call, if running is a direct appointment and part of your core markets, we want to also really offer you 1, 2, 3, many auxiliary core markets. That's where you trust that these markets serve a core function to you doing business. They match really well with what you want to offer your insureds. And you trust that Indium is a good conduit for you to access that carrier. You might notice that I didn't really put a lot of emphasis on, walking means a subcode and crawling means accessing it through our brokerage team, because, as Paul can attest to, those things are kind of outside of our control, your control. Each carrier's proclivity kind of determine what the access point is to that carrier. Some might be only subcodes, some might be only brokerage team accessible. So regardless of the proper access point, we want to make sure that we can grow that relationship with you as you gain confidence in that carrier and us. So the takeaways hopefully are that, the best Indium access point, whether it's a subcode, brokerage team, or whether we help you knock it out of the park. So you decide that, yeah, I actually want to want to actually bring this carrier into the fold as my core market, as a direct appointment, whoever that is, we want to help you grow as your relationship or as that confidence with us in that carrier grows. So we want to grow with you in that relationship. And just know that it's not all or nothing with every carrier. We want to pick up the slack on the advisory part and help you guys pick and choose the right relationship with these markets, and know that it's not a one size fits all. Now, you might be saying, Caleb, it's fantastic that you have an approach to access, that this seems a bit aspirational, considering that, you know, a lot of the questions were around like what is actually a good fit, what is the appetite, and that's totally fair. It's something that definitely needs to be addressed. And as I said, the common thread is kind of, where does Indium fit? And so really success for you being like really happy with Indium as a service, Indium as a market access point, and our ability to provide that well. I think both of us are going to depend on our ability to help you define where your core markets end, which you're probably really familiar with that, but like really demystify, you know, the second piece, which is, where does Indium begin, and what does Indium do well for you? Because that answer is going to be different from agency to agency, right? We need to be prescriptive about this, and we're going to be committed to taking a more bespoke approach to helping you individually engage with us. That's for sure. Steve, I can't think of anybody better than you, because you're the one talking to agencies day in and day out. You want to chime in here on where does Indium fit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So Caleb and I joined, right at the same time, and really both of us have been kind of digging in both on the operational side as well as trying to chat with as many agencies as possible, and vendors, carriers, everything, just to kind of get the full picture. And did a campaign a few weeks back and was lucky enough to have about 30 agencies schedule time with me. Out of about 65 we invited, so appreciate everyone jumping on those, and really had a lot of takeaways, and Caleb's kind of hit on a lot of them, right? It's just really kind of understanding the right fits and ease of doing business, all those things. So we are really taking a lot of action items in behind the scenes, and Lindsay coming on board as well. We just got a lot of great stuff going on, and you'll really kind of see that real time as it's happening. But there were a few takeaways we wanted to have coming up in the next days, weeks, and months, and you kind of see hopefully where the progression comes in. But one of the things we definitely want to do is really kind of reintroduce your advocates, mostly on the commercial side, of course. We've got Kelly kind of working on the personal side, and I think she's in a fairly good spot there. We definitely want to continue to grow that, but really on the commercial side, make sure you're familiar with who your advocate is, what kind of what their strengths are, where they're at, and you'll kind of see some stuff coming your way around that, and we're excited about that, and just really want them to be that front line for really doing that crawl, walk, jog model, and with you, and in their cases as well. So you'll see that. One of the things I will directly be handling, still kind of working on the start dates, most likely going to be like July 1st. I will be scheduling touch points with agencies directly. There's quite a few, so it will kind of be proactively coming from me, as opposed to trying to schedule individually, because that would be a kind of a nightmare, to be honest. So hopefully you'll be gentle with me and accept those, and depending on your membership level, it would be quarterly or monthly. And I will at least come with some stuff. The hope is that you guys look to myself and the team as resources for issues you guys are facing, whether it's with technology or staffing or operations, something with a carrier, a vendor, anything along those lines. We're kind of here to help, while also driving value for your membership with Indium. But I will be bringing items that are kind of top of mind for us, and really whether it's driving profitability, rounding out lines of business, new technology partnerships, whatever the case may be, we'll be driving some of that information to you. But the goal is hopefully at some point, we get to and we don't expect on the first call, of course, but at some point I jump on the call, you're on the call, and you've got a checklist of 3 or 4 things that you've been waiting to chat with me about, and kind of go from there. And obviously, if there's stuff in the interim, I'm always available. And if you are on a quarterly and we get into kind of a hot topic and we feel like it makes sense to meet more often, 100% we're going to do that. My role truly is, managing that communication between a small group number of agencies. So my time is there for you guys. One of the other things, we really want to start being deliberate about celebrating, right? You kind of, especially in a tough market these days, and of course, I've been in the business so long, it always feels like it's a tough market. But just kind of talking about wins that we have internally, wins that our agency partners have, and really spreading those, because anytime you kind of see somebody else did more creative, and maybe it triggers a thought, maybe you're dealing with a prospect that it triggers something for you, and you can kind of take some strides to get that prospect over the finish line. We just want to share that good news, and really be more proactive. It's much better than being reactive. I think Caleb and I have been in the reactive approach here for a few weeks, but we just really want to get on the front foot, be driving information, be driving stories, creating some cool events and all that good stuff. And then when we talk about actual markets and products, we've got a really great relationship that we're in the kind of the final phases of rolling out, which is with PathPoint. And what they do great, it's technology based offering with obviously product behind it, but it's really, you enter some information about a particular risk in a certain market, and then it kicks back and provides carriers that would be interested in that type of business. And depending on who that carrier is, kind of like Caleb alluded to earlier, right? Every carrier is different. Some of those we'll be able to help you out directly with. Some of them you'll go directly to the carrier. It's just really going to depend on those. But what we want to get away from is just pushing stuff back and just saying, hey, there's nothing available for you. I think I always take to heart, I've been in the business long enough. If you guys get to a conversation, where you have a prospect willing to let you quote their commercial business, it's a huge step. They've got tons of people coming after them for their business. They've selected you, they've trusted you, and we want to make sure we deliver on that trust back to you. So we're excited about it, and I think Paul and Caleb can touch a little bit more on it, but you'll be hearing some good stuff, and I think it's going to really ease a lot of the challenges that we faced. So hopefully I did some justice for you, Caleb, and just excited to get these meetings going and just really kind of drive things forward.
Yeah, sorry guys, I don't know what he just said there. That's just no. Thanks, Steve. Good insight, man. All right, so I kind of introed him a bit earlier, but I think it's time where we get to tag Paul in here, so we can go through some of the questions or some of the answers from the member survey, and discuss some things that we know that are on the top of your guys' mind. So Paul, you can probably introduce yourself better than I can. You want to give folks a little intro to yourself?
Yep. Paul Tippett. So I've been with Indium for 3 months now. Originally, I worked with Nationwide. I was one of the top sales reps with Nationwide, and moved up to sales manager. And so I have a lot of background in sales and with insurance, and glad to be a part of Indium and helping you guys with your carriers.
Well, glad you could come up for air to do this. So I know for like the last 3 months now, you've been been engaging, gaining insights, talking carrier wants, our members' needs with carriers. You've also been hearing and exposed to member feedback. You've unfortunately been in meetings with the 3 of us. So with all that in mind, synthesizing all that, what's one thing, a few things that have been a little eye-opening, or at least worth mentioning now that you have like a member audience?
Oh yeah, you bet. So I think one of the biggest eye openers, I guess, would be that we have 35 plus carriers available. If you really take a look at what we have, you know, we have Aegis, for example. They do Airbnb, things like that. We only have 11 agencies with Aegis when, you know, there's an opportunity there. We have Flood, we have Pearl that does so I actually used for my business, and I really like them. And so working with carriers, I think we want to make sure that we have a competitive product and it's really serving your needs as a member. So that's the nice thing about these surveys, is you tell us what you need, and we can move forward with making sure the carrier is right for you.
And you bring up a great point. Sometimes it's hard for us to wrap our heads around all that, like the breadth of our carrier access. So it's definitely worth mentioning that we should that there are going to be some gaps in knowledge there that you guys probably all don't know. All the access that you have through Indium. So we can do a better job of that, and really happy that a lot of you on the survey answered that question of like what is a gap that you need you need an option for. So don't want to get that specific and dig into all of that when it wouldn't apply to everybody, but we will be reaching out on those specific requests, and we'll try to match you the best we can. So not going unnoticed. That's just for sake of time and just to make this as broadly applicable as possible. I'm not going to dig into those specific things today, but we will be reaching out. So along those lines, I think this proves it. Freddie says, we need a list of carriers to give the staff. We also would like to know if you have a webinar training to help the staff learn to navigate your system. I guess I can take this, Paul. We do have a highest level. We have our current up-to-date markets are listed on our website. Don't want to be the guy to just like point you to our website, or you would have probably already found that, right? So we will send you something. We are also working on something that I'll share with you at the end here. That's definitely more robust than just the carrier logo page, right? That's a start, but we definitely hear loud and clear we need to go deeper. Working on something really cool there. And as far as the trainings, it's like your ears are burning. We are going to be doing, if this is kind of like what Indium has to offer, there's a very necessary discussion to have on how to submit business the best way, and those processes, which we are like at the tail end of overhauling, guys. So and we will also be putting that in our learning management system, Amplify U. You'll be able to access the trainings there on actually how to best submit business with Indium as well. So definitely something important. And we're even actually putting together just a total, the Indium Way playbook. So comprehensive way to then, like, if you bring on a new hire that has no idea what Indium is, hopefully it's going to be sufficient to just have them go through those modules, and then they're as up to speed as possible on how to do business with Indium. So all of that is coming. Anything to add there, Paul, or anybody? Steve, anybody else?
With the topic of training, there are several carriers that have just a lot of training available to us as well. They can reach out to agencies individually and get the training that you need. So any type of training that you're looking at, you could be small commercial, it could be middle market. I mean, any type of training that you're looking for, just let us know and we can find the best avenue for you.
I think this is going to be the power of like the monthly, quarterly meetings. if we send you training, guys, like just writ large on stuff that just, you're probably getting sick of getting kind of bombarded, not just Indian, but across the board with stuff that like isn't designed to help you move the needle individually and your people. So we want to actually figure out in those meetings, like what would actually be advantageous for your people to learn, and then source that for you, whether that's in our own Amplify You system, or if it's a really targeted carrier training, carrier-led training, we want to get you that. So that's a good point. Paul, we shouldn't overlook those resources, but we definitely want to make sure that it's targeted for something that's going to actually resonate with your team.
Right.
Brent asks, who is the correct person to ask questions as to the markets and their appetites? Couple different layers. First and foremost, this is why we want to reintroduce and get you all reacquainted with your commercial lines advocate. Even though a lot of people are aware of Kelly on the personal line side, we want to make sure that you have, maybe a refresher. And they're the ones that are just firsthand being able to see like what businesses, where the roadblocks are to placing business, where the wins are day in and day out. So they'll be the best ones to actually talk about individual risk placement. And then if it's not available with our standard markets, then myself, Steve, Lindsay, we'll discuss with Paul, and maybe we'll learn that, it's a no for now, but we're working on something, developing a partnership with a carrier based on your feedback, or it's a no forever. It's just something we're not approaching. We'll be able to give you kind of, if it's not an option now, will it be an option? And if it's going to be an option, what's the timeline? And so, but your first line of defense is going to be the your advocate on either side of the business.
That's a really good point, because if we don't currently have an appetite that you're looking for, or a product that you're looking for, that's a good cue that we need to find something to take care of our members. And right now we're working on, I think, 5 new appointments with new carriers. Some are with personal lines because the majority of our business is commercial. We're going to try to pick up the personal lines a little bit. So more to come on all of that as well.
Wow. That's good to know. Thanks, Paul.
Yep.
You gonna tease us with any names, or is that close to the vest?
Oh.
I understand. I don't want to get you in trouble. All right. So.
No, we're good. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, there's about 5 different ones.
It's him politely telling me, shut up, Caleb. Okay. I love it.
No, we got, I mean, different types of things like Tokyo Marine, auto owners insurance, Philly. We got some surety lines of business there. We've got nationwide private clients. So there's several that we're looking at. We don't want to overextend ourselves, but we also want to have the right product, the competitive product that's going to be a win for everyone.
I think some of those will be music to a lot of people's ears. So
yeah, I mean,
for leading the charge. Yeah.
If these surveys are coming up and you have a specific carrier that you want, we can look into that as well. So.
Sounds good. We're going to give everybody Paul's home phone number. So. All right. John asks, are personal lines accounts that are written through Indium, I think he means the internal brokerage team and not a subcode, still being serviced by carrier service centers, or is the Indium team handling these directly? I think I know the answer, but I might defer to Paul on this to corroborate what I think.
Yeah, the insurance team, I think there are a few carriers that are in-house handles, but I don't know the exact carriers, but the majority are all carrier service. So,
and I think any I think any new carriers, that's one of the things that we're looking at, right? Is that they have an appropriate
Correct.
service center. Okay, yeah. Um,
And just, sorry, I'm good.
No,
And
you're fine.
also like Travelers for Existence, for example, they have a new service center that they're launching that we have an option to use them as well. So, and I think you can do that on an individual basis with your subcode. So there's things like that.
So I'm gonna think now is a good time because we've had a lot of people ask for, you know, a more interactive way to answer questions on their own, and I want to show you a sneak peek at that. But Paul, if do you think this we're going to resend the survey, you know, just we heard from a lot of people and it was great. There's opportunity here from more members, so we're going to send it out. Is this the best way to get their thoughts over to you, Paul, or what's the best way?
I think this member survey is great. We can touch base every month or quarter or whatever on new questions that come up. Of course, it's kind of hard to, you know, to work with the carrier and making sure that it's the right product if we don't hear from you. So the surveys, I think, are really, really good so that we can really focus on improving and making sure we have the right competitive product.
Very cool. Good stuff. Thanks for taking the time, Paul.
Yep.
Really appreciate it. I think it's good stuff for everybody here, including myself. So thank you very much. Round of applause for Paul. And I am trying to find where I put that sneak peek, guys. Sorry. All right, don't worry about all the tabs, guys. So this is one example where we're going to be rolling this out for every one of our carrier partners. And it's going to, this piece is only going to be member facing, right? So if you're a member, you'll be able to access this. And really we want to highlight each carrier, how they're best accessed. So in this case, Openly is, we're designating that they are accessible through PL Radar, which we'll be rolling out. And we want to really highlight what they do well. And so just at a glance, you know, primary homes, secondary homes, and rentals. We have a downloadable appetite guide here that if you click on it, it'll download it to your computer. Same thing goes for their, we're gonna have downloadable commission schedules and bonus schedules. At a glance, subcode requirements. So if you're considering, you know, maybe you're comfortable, you're at the walk place with Openly, or even ready to jog with Openly, you can see their subcode requirements. And we want to create like almost like a credit report, so to speak, for the carriers. So we want you to be able to, as members, upvote, downvote, just get kind of a collective conscience and opinion on the particular carrier, just of Indium members, right? And if there's a particular, we want to give our fellow members a heads up if there's been a service issue or had a issue with a claim or what have you. We want to give you the ability to both access that information and to share your experiences with fellow members. And then when this thing goes live, which is we're really circling around renewal time, July 1st, to have this go live. We'll also be able to, you'll be able to access a rate increase trend to keep your finger on the pulse of where rates with any particular carrier are going, or have been in the recent history and where they're going. So excited about this. Lindsay has done a fantastic job of doing almost all the legwork here to make this possible. Working with Paul to collect the data that he's going out and extracting from these carriers and making it just really accessible to you guys, so it actually is usable, which I think is fantastic. So Lindsay, thank you. Paul, thank you. Steve, thank you for having the conversations, and everybody that jumped on and everybody that answered the survey, everyone that's engaging with us and helping us get better at this stuff. Really appreciate it. We think it's exciting where this stuff's going. So thank you all. And we'll keep you updated. We'll keep you posted on what the next Indium Insights is going to be able to cover. So thank you guys.